Hi, my name is Desmond. I just thought I'd clarify what I mean when I say TTLBL is using the focus points when it meters. We look at some of the early tests where I used the Nikon D40 with only its 3 focus points. You can see that when I had all the focus points in the center of a black object, it overexposed the outside of the frame. As soon as I moved one focus point across onto that white, everything went dark, using bounce flash and TTLBL. This indicated to me that TTLBL does not use the center of the frame like normal TTL flash. It has the ability to select a small area of that frame and meter for it. If we look at the normal matrix metering pattern, we can see it covers a wide area along with the outside of the frame, and it also meters very strongly toward the focus points. We also look at how metering has progressed. We look how first they came out with spot metering, where you could spot meter off the center focus point on the frame. Then they came out with the ability for you to be able to choose which one of the focus points you use for spot metering. And I would assume that the next possibility that opened up was for them to provide you with the focus point diamond, which could choose the brightest area for itself. Because if we think of what TTLBL is used for, it's generally meant to be a full flash, and its primary objective seems to be to preserve highlights, which is why it seems to seek out the brightest area in that focus point diamond, not necessarily under a focus point itself. But if we have a look at some tests where I've included a picture of the focus points as well, we take a picture of an object using TTLBL and bounce flash. I use bounce flash because in that mode it doesn't use the distance information from the lens all that much. It seems to concentrate on the brightest object you can find. So I take that picture, then I introduce something white into the frame, and you can see that white object is just under the leftmost focus point, and suddenly the picture goes dark because it's exposing for that brightest object under the focus point diamond. Now we take 2 more pictures to illustrate the fact that it differs very much from normal TTL flash, which meters strongly for the center of the frame. We do a similar image with TTL using bounce flash, and it doesn't look too bad because that white object is quite far off to the left, away from the center of the frame where TTL meters. We take the same image using TTLBL and bounce flash, and there's a drastic difference because it's just touching the leftmost focus point. And as I've mentioned, the primary objective of TTLBL balanced full flash appears to be to preserve highlights. So it tends to expose for the brightest object that falls under the focus point diamond. With direct flash it is very different because it is very accurate with direct flash, because it uses the distance information from the lens to a greater degree than it uses the pre-flash reading. And this is how TTL flash meters. It doesn't use any of the outside of the frame. TTLBL, on the other hand, seems to use the matrix metering pattern under the focus point diamond, which matrix metering seems to expose very strongly for, and it doesn't get affected so much by the size of the object as the fact that as long as there's a bright enough object under any of the areas in the focus point diamond, it can select that area and meter for it and back off the flash accordingly. It's like a lot of small spot meters, in that with TTL flash, which takes an average reading of the center of the frame, TTLBL can select a small area and selectively spot meter off that small area, as long as it is under the focus point diamond.